Hello, my loves. I wondered if you wanted to spend a little time with me today while I lean against this tree and talk to you about the nymphs. The nymphs were magical creatures who lived on the earth, not just the nymphs of Greek mythology, but there were nymphs of various kinds around the world. Magical creatures that lived in states of pleasure that we would describe as varying levels of orgasm all the time, and were in complete communion with all of nature, with each other, and with all that is. They were omnipresent, they were omnipotent, they knew all. They were the original oracles and the original sexual priestesses. They loved to gather at springs and caves because springs came out of the Earth Mother and caves went into the Earth Mother. But all nature was their beloved, and they did not experience themselves as separate from nature. They loved their bodies and each other. Nymphs were so powerful that in the time that they were able to thrive here in this world, they didn't need protection because their energy fields were so strong that if you weren't resonant enough, you couldn't even get near them. We still have access to this nymph way of being and knowing inside of us. And I've spent over 2 decades now talking and teaching about the nymphs and realized I hadn't made a video about them for you all. And since I'm featuring my nymph courses this month, I wanted to talk about them. I'll never get done being fascinated by the nymphs and talking about them and bringing the living memory back, because this isn't something I've seen spoken about or written about, like in detail of how the nymphs lived and what teachings they might bring anywhere else. And as we remember, we bring that back, just as we do with the other traditions or lineages that I sometimes talk about. When we are able to go into our memories, we can bring back what seemed to have been lost. So the abilities that we tap into when we tap into the inner nymph, those pleasure states, those states of knowing, are what we'd all call magical. They have such capacity to heal and to bring us such deep revelation. These ecstatic states can bring so much knowing that is so needed. A big, beautiful bird just flew over me. I don't know if you can hear the wind through the trees, but it's just delicious. So I'm not sure how to express profoundly enough how much the world needs this beautiful nymph knowing, and how much everyone I know could use as much of it as is available. I am very excited to talk more about the nymphs over time in a way that as many people can hear about as possible. You can check out my nymph courses at the link below, and also a link to a lot of my free writings and resources about them. I'll put both those links down there. Sending you love from my tree spot. Love you all. Bye.